All right, welcome back to the drive. It's been a while. um, just a few days, right? Um, but yeah, it has been a while. Unfortunately, I haven't really been able to record because I haven't had my GoPro with me. I mean, I've had it. It's just been at my house, but the past, I don't know, 6 months or so, I haven't really been staying at my house very often. So when I actually go on like longer trips, like 30 plus minute trips, I end up not having my GoPro with me, and then I can't record it. So there's that. You naturally kind of be like, well, just bring the GoPro to where you're staying at now. And it's like, oh, I definitely want to. I just, what in the world is happening here? Um, Hold on. My anxiety has risen a whole bunch. Give me a minute. Okay, should be good. Um, you naturally kind of be like, well, just bring it with you then. Just bring it to where you're staying at. I just forget to, dude. And it's been like that for the past couple months. I'm like, oh, I'm going on this trip. I need to grab my GoPro. And I just kept on forgetting. And today, I actually have a few trips I'm taking. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop home. First things first is like the item that that I'm doing today is like I'm going to drop off headphones that I bought a couple days ago from Best Buy. Um, and so I'm going there to return them because I actually found my old headphones. They were being used as a stand underneath my parents' bed. What I mean by that is like my parents have like these little like lights that are like motion activated on the floor, so that at night when they're getting up, they can see where they're going. And so they were using one of my headsets to prop up one of those lights underneath the bed, and I was like, huh, so that's where they've been. So I found those now, so I'm going to turn these because these were like $160, so I'm going to turn them, um, and that's where we're headed right now. And so I was like, I have to go home and grab these headphones anyways, so it'd be perfect to record today. So here we are, we're recording. Finally, I am actually so happy to be able to finally start doing this again because it's just been so long, and I miss recording these little drives. It lets me kind of just speak my mind, have somewhere to just put my thoughts. You know, I do write in a journal, but this is just such an easier way of doing it and captures emotion better. You know what I mean? That's kind of cringe to say out loud, but I said it, so that's all that matters. Um, but regardless, um, life's been lifing. Just a little life update. Um, it's definitely been lifing. The reason I've been staying somewhere else is because I now have a girlfriend, um, and so I've been staying with her. Even though I technically live at my house, I still pay my parents like $500 a month for like rent, and um, you know, I've just been staying with her. But it's whatever. It's better than paying like $1,500 a month, I guess. But I think later this year, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of debating like, do I really want to move out of like my parents' house and go get myself my own actual apartment when I'm only paying $500 a month to have just a separate place to live if I need to. Like, why pay that? Why, just like stay another year of paying $500 a month and then save that extra $1,000 for whatever else, maybe travel or something like that. But it's also like, do I really want to travel right now? Like I would love to travel. I really, really want to travel so bad. And it's like, I want to live my life. But at the same time, I also want to set myself up for having a good, like, foundation of money that I can let it grow while I'm able to travel. But that wouldn't happen for another like 4 or 5 years. I mean, I want to say 4 or 5 years, probably like 3 years until I'm like actually like safe. Um, But I don't know. I do want to do at least like one trip a year, 1 or 2 trips a year, probably 2 trips a year. Nothing like huge, but it would be great, you know? It would be great to have um, just some small time off, go explore some new places. Like when I went to Seattle, I don't know if I was recording this at the time. I don't think I was. I don't think I had recorded anything since I went to Seattle. I went to Seattle for my work training. Um, and okay, I'm stuck behind a really slow truck, um, which it was fun. I really loved going up there. I got to fly on Delta, which is all paid for and everything, which is my first time traveling like by myself somewhere else, especially for work. That was actually so dope. Um, and apparently this was the flight I got on was the first Dallas to Seattle flight that Delta has done. And so they have this cool little like setup, like balloons, archways, and like some free food before we got on the plane. It was really cool. But yeah, I got in Seattle, got myself an Uber or whatever, which is also the first time I've gotten in an Uber by myself. So a lot of things I've done for the first time happened just this past year or so, within the past 52 weeks. So it was cool. I got to explore a lot in Seattle. I got to ride those, I can't remember what they're called, Lime scooters. Those are so dope. Just like riding them through the streets, explore new spots, explore the because I was in downtown Seattle, which I don't. Is there a non-downtown Seattle? I don't know. There probably is. Because I know like here in Dallas, like, oh, you say that you live in Dallas, but in reality you don't really live in Dallas, like the actual like city of Dallas where it's like downtown or whatever. You kind of live on like, you just live in the Dallas Metroplex, but regardless, it's a stupid tangent to go on. You know, but yeah, I was like downtown Seattle, had a hotel there, and yeah, I just kind of went and explored, went to the Space Needle. Last time I went to the Space Needle, I was like 4 or 5 with my parents, so I don't really remember all that much. So I went there on my own, got to explore that and take some pretty cool pictures from up there. I don't know, I just really liked seeing new places because I'm so used to just seeing the same place. That's how I've lived my life, basically, is just seeing the same places over and over and over again. Especially like being here in Dallas, you know, I see the same things over and over. And so finally kind of going out on my own and, you know, seeing these things. It was really cool. And especially, you know, I know my girlfriend, she wants to go out and explore and travel as well. So letting myself share those experiences with someone else would be really cool. So I'm really hoping I get to like travel somewhere within the next couple of months. You know, but I just really don't know what to do financially right now. Because yeah, I can afford to go and travel, but do I want to spend that money now and then lose the chance of letting that money grow in a savings account or investments? I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't even know where I'd want to go, you know? Especially like right now because it's winter. I really wanted to record when it's snowing here in Dallas. Get like a little snow recording done. That would have been really cool. But I couldn't. And lately it's been like really foggy at night, and I want to record that. Because like it's such a unique like setting, atmosphere almost. It's really cool. It's like almost eerie, but it's like really cool to drive through. And so we're getting a recording of that. Doing one of those would be really cool. I've said the same thing over and over and over again. I was like, oh, this would be really cool. But I don't think y'all feel enough of how I would feel about it. You know, I gotta make sure y'all get that feeling. Yeah, I'm now a manager. I think I've talked about this before on the drive a while ago. I was talking about like how excited I am for my job. I've started it, but I got switched to a different role. Um, I actually got switched like the month before I was supposed to start my role. I got switched to a different one. It's still a management role, um, but it's just like in a new area, I suppose. It's in like transportation. So that was out of completely nowhere to me, but I've learned a lot, um, and I actually really appreciate being moved there, because it's kind of forced me to learn a whole new industry, um, and that's been really like that's been so cool to see like how much I've learned in the 6 months that I've been here. Um, the first month of me being at this job was all just like trainings and all that stuff, and then I finally got to be on my own about 3 or 4 months ago, um, and finally being able to be on my own, I've learned a lot about how to like excel in my role, and like how to do certain things, because training it only taught me like this is what this is. You're going to use this a lot, without actually like a deep dive of how to actually utilize it to better my role. I actually got to get off here in a mile, so I need to get over. This Jeep is going to pass me. Or not. I need this Infinity to get past me. Please, thank you. No, sir, do not speed up. I will speed up for you. Hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. We'll get back to scheduled programming here in a second, once I figure out where I'm going. I think I'm in the right lane. Okay. But it's just, just being a manager itself is just so different, because I've always just kind of been the associate. Now I'm the manager, and you kind of have to be the guy that, at one point you hated. You don't have to be someone that's hated as a manager. There's ways you can work on that. But what I've learned very quickly is that you cannot really be like friendly all the time, because the associates are going to take advantage of that. And it's like you really learn a lot after being a manager role, why a manager is the way that they are. You really do learn that real fast. Just like, oh, I hate them because they're making me do this, and like I disagree with this. I don't want to do this, But once you're the manager, you really start to realize this is why they asked you to do this, and it's like you need to be able to perform the job that you signed up for at the end of the day. Now, granted, some managers are going to be, terrible about that. I have to get off right there. Yeah, there's no shot. Absolutely no shot. I'm supposed to get off on that exit right there. Yeah, no. That is the worst, design. Holy. This isn't like a empty road either. A lot of times, they'll have those exits designed on a road that's somewhat empty, but that was not empty at all. Okay, I gotta take an actual, just right here. So I gotta make sure this van sees me so I can turn right onto College here. I've got to go through this hospital here. Okay, I probably should have previewed the route before doing this, because that was terrible routing. But yeah, back to what I was saying. You really do learn that the decisions that a manager makes isn't to, annoy you. It's just this stuff has to get done. And I don't know, I am not a retail manager, so I don't know exactly how all of that works. But I know in my industry and what I'm doing, it's there's different job areas. Because when I was working at Walmart, they would have me go from doing like the online grocery pickup to doing stocking. And when I first started at Walmart, I was a stalker for like 8 months. I after like not even 5 months, after like 4 months, I hated that job. It was so mind numbing and time went by so slow. I didn't like it. So that's why I transferred out of that role to be an online grocery, which I liked a lot more. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I loved my job, you know, but it was a lot better for me. And so then when they would have us switch to going to being a stalker when I was in online grocery, I hated that. I was like, do not send me there, you know? I absolutely hated it. And so, you know, that part still kind of annoys me, but it's like, you know, if another department needs help, you know, you're basically hired to help the whole store as an associate. And stocking isn't really that hard to learn. Now, if you're stocking like fresh items, like, yeah, you have to kind of go through trainings and stuff like that. But when it comes to this sort of thing, you know, you're signed up for this role, like you're driving, you know. I have them go on like delivery runs, which is part of their driving things, or they'll be driving in the yard. And, you know, that is exactly what they signed up for. This is the trainings they went through, or the training they went through. And so then them can be like, I don't want to do this. And then also just the excuses that I hear, which I know are excuses, but, you know, I can't obviously like say that to them. Because, you know, some of them, sometimes they do have legitimate reasons. But other times it's kind of just like, why? You know, why are you making my job so much more difficult here? When this is what you had signed up for and everything. You know, I hate being the guy that, you know, tells them like to go and do this when I know they don't like it, but I have to be fair with everything. And that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm making sure I'm fair. If there's someone that actually enjoys one part of the job, I prioritize having them go and do that specific job. And then I'll kind of look for someone else to do it. So basically, like, I'll have someone do like go to this other site twice before I send this person once, or I'll send, you know, basically a 2-to-1 ratio, if that makes any sense, is how I'll work it. I'll record some more on the way back. I just want to complete my thought here. You know, like, it's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. If someone likes it, I'll prioritize having them go and do it, but I also need to send this other person that doesn't like doing it, I need to send them to do it as well, because, you know, there's gonna be times where this, like, employee A that really likes to go and do this specific thing, you know, they're gonna get tired of it, or they just want to stay at the site and do, you know, the main job. The main job is just driving the yard, moving trailers around in the yard. That's their main job. And so, you know, they're gonna want to probably do that more, or just have like a break from having to do all these different other tasks that they have to do. And, you know, everyone also needs to feel comfortable in being able to go and do these different things. And so if I don't send them, they're going to be so used to not having to go. And then it becomes a whole thing where it's like, well, you weren't sending me for a while. What's changed now? You know, it turns into one of those situations. And I don't really want that, you know, and I know it doesn't all entirely matter what I want. Because obviously what I want is like, you know, I need you to go do this. You go do this without having any excuses or complaints about it. You know, that would be the ideal. But I also completely understand where they're coming from, because I was in that same exact situation. You know, when I was at Walmart, I didn't want to go and do this, but, you know, the manager needed me to go and do it. So I completely understand where they're coming from, and that's why I'm kind of doing this whole like fairness thing, you know. But I don't know. I guess just the last story I've got here before I go in back out, because I'm going to completely forget I was talking about this by the time I get back out here, um, is that I had an associate that was kind of talking about how they felt like they were always being chosen first. And I completely get where they're coming from, because yeah, I was messaging them to go and do these different things, like go do this like, can you recover this delivery run because the person you're supposed to do it isn't here today, or they're running late. Can I have you go to this other site and help them out? You know, um, but it's because I had already sent everyone else already during the current week or the previous week. I'd already sent someone else there. Um, I sent employee A over to this other site yesterday, so I can't send them there today. Employee B is running late today, so I can't send them there. I can't have them recover this Tommy, which is what they're called, delivery runs. I can't have them do this because they're running late. And I can't have employee C go because they're going tomorrow. So that leaves me with you, employee D, because you haven't gone in 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, you haven't done any of these other tasks in 2 or 3 weeks. So that's why I've been coming to you like yesterday to go and do this. And then you were like, can you send this person instead? So then when today comes around, I'm going to come to you again because you just haven't gone and done these things yet in a while. And so that's why it seems like I'm coming to you first, because I'm trying to maintain fairness. And I've also just got some other associates that are like, I don't feel comfortable doing these runs, but at the same time, they're so unwilling to go on these delivery runs. So it's like, how are you going to get comfortable with it if you just refuse to keep on going? Like, yeah, I know you don't feel comfortable with it right now, and I'm giving you options. Like, I can have one of the specialists come and ride with you and make sure everything's going okay. But then you refuse that, and then I keep on sending you on the same exact like runs where it's like 4 hours long. It keeps getting sent to the same places, and then when I give you one more, like an extra hour longer on these runs, because they have to go to different places, so I can assign them specific like time blocks. It's like 4-hour time blocks or 6-hour time blocks or a whole shift time block, which is what a lot of the other sites are doing that. But since I don't have any associates that feel comfortable doing that, then I've got to work them up to being comfortable. And so when I assign you a 6-hour time block, you're coming to me and complaining about it. But I'm trying to help you feel comfortable doing these longer runs. I can't just keep sending you these 4-hour ones because you've been doing these for the past 4 or 5 months now, and you're still saying you don't feel comfortable doing anything longer than that. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to try and gradually build you up to doing these longer delivery runs, but you refuse to do them, and you tell me to send it to someone else, and it's like, I'm not going to keep doing that. And so right now I'm having to kind of put my foot down and be the mean manager, because they're kind of running all over me right now. They're kind of like they have this mindset to where they know they can kind of get what they want out of me, and I'm warning that very quickly. Is that and previously they asked me, can you just assign this to this person? I'd be like, okay, I'll do that. Because at the same time, I also want to build respect with them. I want to have empathy, and I want to have respect with them. I want to cater to their preferences to the best of my ability, but I just can't keep doing that. But I've got to put my foot down now and just be like, no, I can't do this. If you don't want to do this, you're gonna have to put your time in for the day and go home. I'm gonna have to start doing that and have a talk with my associates, because I just can't keep going on like this. I don't know. It's really gotten to that point. I'm just not the person that is good at having these difficult conversations, because I like being nice. Everyone likes being nice. Most people like being nice, but I just can't keep letting them run all over me like this and get what they want when the business needs something different, you know. But I don't know. Maybe I'll come back and I'll remember what I was talking about and continue on with this. But I don't know. I'm gonna run back. I'm gonna run inside and return these real quick, and then I'll be back out. Okay. Got the return made, so that's good. Pretty painless. But now we're on the way back home. But I guess I'll continue what I was talking about. It's just I'm struggling so much with like how to properly manage while being respectful and empathetic. You know, I'm going into every conversation with them being like, you know, assuming they have positive intent. That's something that's like constantly like ingrained in you, like when you first start one of these jobs. But it's also something that, you know, I also personally am like, that's the way it needs to be carried out, is that, you know, there is positive intent and why they're coming to you. And so you need to actually try and learn and see what's going on before coming to assumptions. And I don't know. It just, like, it is frustrating, but I also am like completely understanding where they are coming from. And so I don't want to, you know, just be so like annoyed with that fact. Which is, I need to instill a different, I don't know what the word, I know what the word is I'm thinking of, but I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there's a word there, but I can't think of what that word is, but it's really close. Or like a phrase. I think I have to get over in the left lane here. Yeah, I do. I'm pretty sure. I think this is where the split happens. The thing coming up here, there's gonna make a split. Like these two lanes go left, those two lanes go right. So might as well just get over now, even though it's in a lane that's much. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yep. That, like, this is the worst design, I swear. It's like, originally it was saying that like if you were in this lane, you can kind of decide whether you want to go to the right or go to the left. And I think people are still thinking that's what it is, but it's actually up here. It's like those two go right, those two go left. There's no optional thing there, and so people are like at the last second trying to get over to the correct side they're trying to go to, and then this just creates so much traffic here every single time. You can even see how they edited it up here. You'll see the sign, how it looks off. It's because it literally, that's what it used to show, is that, you know, this one lane, you could choose either go left or right. And now it doesn't say that anymore. But let me fix it out a little bit. Anyways, back to the work thing. I want there to kind of be like this mindset coming to work. That's not the phrase I was looking for, but there's another phrase. But I want there to be like this mindset, you know, coming to work, that this could be what happens when I get there to work. Now, I am like letting them know if there's like planned like times or planned dates where they're going to be going to a different site. I'm going to let them know a week beforehand rather than it be random. Which, to be fair, you know, it does make it worse for them when they come into work and then now they're being told to go somewhere else. You know, that's annoying. I think anyone would find that slightly annoying. But I also, we just now started this like planned thing where, you know, different sites would look kind of a week out. And if they need some labor share, then they'll reach out to me, because right now we have such an excess of labor that, you know, I need to give it out. I don't need 6 people driving for me in one day. I don't need that. So that's why I'm having to send people out and everywhere. That's why they're not used to it, is because we were actually the ones that were always needing labor share because we were so low on staffing. But now we have too many people, so now we're going to send people out. That's kind of the problem there, and that's the thing. I think that's why they got in their in their heads that like, they're so used to just only staying at this site that they're not used to having to go out to different sites anymore. And now I'm having to send them out to different sites, and they're not, now that's kind of outside their comfort zone because they adapted to just only having to stay at this one site. So now we're kind of telling them a week out, and we didn't even know, like as a manager, I didn't even know that I'd be sending someone out that day, and until another site reached out to me that they needed an extra worker. But now we kind of got it to where, I'll let them know that, this week, this day, at this time is when you'll be over here, because now we're working on that. We've kind of established this now, so that they're prepared when they come into work that this is what's going to be going on. And now there's obviously going to be still the times where it's like randomly, like someone calls out from another site, and now they're really low on headcount and they need someone, and so they're still going to be randomly chosen, but it's just not going to be as often. If that makes any sense. But I've also been developing a whole Excel spreadsheet that kind of like runs through like a mathematical equation that gives them a score at the end, and whoever has like the lowest, is it the lowest or highest? I'd have to look at it because I'm still developing it. I think whoever has the highest score, it's whoever has the highest score is the one that's more likely going to get chosen to go and do this different task, depending on what they've done lately. And then depending on which site they go to, there's like a multiplier on it. So if you go to the hardest site, you're going to accrue more points, which means, you're going to accrue less points. Yeah, because the more points you have, the more likely you're going to be chosen. So there's a multiplier in whichever site you went to that will reduce the amount of points that you take per day that you haven't gone and done something, if that makes any sense. But I've been working on that. It's not done yet, but I'm really excited about it. I really love doing this, and at my job, I'm sort of the analyst manager because we work outside of a node basically. So there's like a group of sites that all kind of work together, and that's why we shared different sites, because we all kind of are one cohesive business to an extent. But it's just like a group of 8 different sites that are relatively close to each other. Ours is a little weird. We have 4 that are like 30 to 40 minutes away from the 4 sites that are close by. So there's 4 sites that are really close to each other, and there's 4 other sites that are like 30 to 40 minutes away, but we're still part of the same node. So we still kind of work with each other, but we also try and work with the 4 sites that are close to us. We prioritize them, so if we need labor share or recoveries, so we don't have to have another associate drive 40 minutes to come to us. There's just so much that has happened that I can just go on and on and on about, which thankfully I'll be recording again tonight for next week's episode of this, because I really want to get back into this again, and I'm really going to sort of prioritize it, because I really do enjoy doing these. These are fun to me. This lets me kind of open up my mind, because lately my mind has just been so foggy. I felt so off. So having an outlet really helps out. Like I swear, the last 3 to 4 months have just been so, like, I don't even know if it's like draining, but I really do think that I have accrued some depression, and I don't know from what, but it's just I have like I don't want to say no motivation, but I have so little motivation to do things that I loved doing, like content. Granted, it's really hard for me to do content right now because I'm working nights, 4 days a week, 10-hour shifts, and so I can't really work on that stuff during the days I'm working, and on days I'm off, I want to spend that time with my girlfriend. And so right now it's only Mondays that I'm doing streaming and being able to do content and stuff. And it's really frustrating because I used to do content 5 to 7 times a week, days a week, not times, but I mean days, 5 to 7 days a week, and then reducing it down to 1 day a week. It's just, it sucks. And I've also been kind of just like trapped almost. And it's not because of like my girlfriend or anything. It's just, there's so many, I'm just prevented from being able to go out and do things because I'm working at night, which is also a whole nother thing. You know, I was originally on days. When I first started, I was Sunday through Wednesday day shift, and then two of the managers there that work in our node, apparently they're married or something, which I had no idea about, and then they had a kid, so both of them were gone, and so they had to rotate managers around to help fill in those gaps. And unfortunately, I was the one that was moved from front half days to the back half night, which is the worst shift. It's Wednesday through Saturday. I mean, granted, I can kind of choose the hours I go in. Like right now, I usually go in from 5:30 to 3:30 a.m., so it's really not that bad of a night shift. I just can't do anything after work. I can do a little bit before work, but again, it's at a terrible time. It's like 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is when I have time to do like work stuff, but that's the only time where I can actually go out and run my errands to get things done, you know? Just kind of stuck, you know? And so, yeah, I got chosen to do this, to go run backup nights, because I was, you know, I was the new guy. I was the new manager. I still am the new manager. And then I was told I was only temporarily going to be in this role for 3 or 4 months, while they're on maternity leave and paternity leave or whatever. And so it's coming up to that time where I'm supposed to switch back to front half days. From what I've been told by 2 or 3 different operations managers, is that there's 3 different ones that, you know, I was only temporarily going to be on this shift. And it was stressed to me many times, especially by one. I don't really like this one operations manager. And he's the one who actually was the one that was pushing for me to be on this shift that I'm on now. You know, I got put on this shift, and now all of a sudden they're like, you know, something I brought up about them coming back, and so then I was like, so when I go back to the day shift, what's it going to look like for me, you know? Or something kind of like that, something along those lines. It wasn't those exact words, but something along those lines. I brought up basically, you know, going back to day shift, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, whoever told you that you're going back to day shift wasn't telling you the full truth. And this was coming from the person that was one of the managers that told me I was going back, or like was wording it like I was going back. She was using the word like temporary. You know, she was using those words, and then was saying stuff like, while Dylan is on this shift with us for the remainder of the time that Dylan's on the shift with us, saying words like that, which mean that I'm not going to be here forever, you know? And there's also another guy, because there's another guy on the shift that got moved to a different site. And so, you know, but basically, when I got told that whoever told you this wasn't telling you the full truth, I was like, are you actually kidding me right now? It's like, I understand I signed up to be on any shift. You know, I signed up coming into this knowing that I could be assigned any shift possible. And so I have to be okay with that, to be moved around for business need, you know? And obviously I'm still here. I just don't like the fact that I've been almost lied to. You know, the fact that y'all are going to tell me one thing and then switch up and be like, oh, no, you're actually staying here forever, you know? Because I revolved my life schedule around being on this day shift. And for them to just kind of just be like, oh, well, we're going to move you to nights for temporary time, and then just be like, oh, actually, we're just going to keep you here forever. It's like, what the heck, dude? You know? I just don't really appreciate that, basically. And then last week, or 2 weeks ago, it was said that the guy that moved to a different site because I was taking the shift at this site, you know, when you come back, you know, I'll be your manager again, because operations managers, you know, they're over one specific site or two sites, depending on whichever site they're over. And so my manager was, you know, saying like, oh, whenever you come back to the site I'm at right now, you know, I'll be your manager again, and so on and so forth. So basically saying, she was saying that basically he was going to be coming back to the site. And so I was like, I messaged her. I was like, so what's going to happen with me once he comes back? And she was like, oh, well, we don't know if he's coming back yet or not. We're having to figure all this stuff out. I'm like, so why are you telling him, first of all, that, like, why are you wording it like, oh, well, when you come back? Why are you not saying if or anything like that? Why are you saying when? It's like, because I'm getting my hopes up. I mean, I shouldn't get my hopes up, but I was like, oh, am I going to be going back to day shift then? Am I going to move to, because like, I would literally be so happy to take any other shift. Even if it's like back half days or front half nights. Honestly, if I got front half nights, I would not be disappointed at all. I'm not going to lie. Because going at 5:30 p.m., coming home at 3:30 a.m., it's really not that bad. But I don't know. Literally any other shift I would be so fine with. But it's whatever. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I have a lot of them, and I'll continue them tonight. So thank you all for watching this episode. I appreciate it. And yeah, see you guys again very soon.